regular than this. So what are we talking about? Why is that the case?
I know one of the differences, and Kristen, you can tell me if I'm speaking wrong, is the ability to add content to the site. There was one of the lower proposals. The ability to add content to the site, as we want to add to it, is going to be very difficult. It's not something we can do ourselves. We have to go to them to get them to do it. And so it's not something we can just update regular, which is, in our current state, that'd be something that'd be really nice to have right now, where we could update content maybe daily, weekly, especially with what's going on as the CDC changes their guidelines. As the county maybe puts in new ordinances for, stay at home or they remove them, we can communicate those things. I think it'd be great. And that's one of the big things. And Chris, I don't know if you have more you want to add to that.
No, that is part of it. The other part is the management system behind it. It's also the agency that it comes from. There are a lot of different factors, and also the additions that you want added into it. So I know the highest bidder, if you looked at their example website, you saw something that I can say that website cost $80,000 for the functionality of it and all the access that they have and all the different add-ons that they have. So that's kind of the reason why the prices vary.
Okay. Thank you.
One of the things that jumped out to me, what they are able to do in regards to troubleshooting, and also what they offer in regards to security.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you have someone available 7/24, if you're having a problem, they can react to it. Where with another business, it may be 2 or 3 days or a week. And I think it's imperative that a business like the community needs to get back on track as soon as possible. And everything that they're doing also needs to be extremely secure.
I agree with that.
So that Kristen and I can move forward with this project, is the board willing to move some of the riverboat funding not to exceed $30,000 for this project forward so that we can get started, please?
I would move that we approve the move of up to $30,000 for the website update. You need more specific than that.
I think that'll be fine. Is there a second?
Does this motion need to be made in regards to hiring this particular company to handle our needs?
That's what I was wondering.
Not technically, because we are just asking for the money to hire a professional service, and we will use this company as long as something doesn't explode in the contract negotiation or something along those lines,
Okay.
But not specifically.
I will second these motion.
Okay, Brenda, roll call vote, please.
Jamie Kane,
Yes.
Glenn Teddy,
Yes.
Rodney King,
Yes.
and Karen Rust.
Yes.
Okay, thank you all very much for that. We will get started on it right away. Kristen is going to briefly show us what the current brand guidelines design process looks like. We're working on a new logo, and part of that will be for the website. And it's more of sort of a for information component piece, but we wanted to show you where we are in the process. I think she's going to pull that up, and then she can talk about it a little bit as well.
Yeah.
While she's pulling it up, we have been working with a company for over a year. We switched companies when they couldn't sort of fulfill what it was we were looking for. This was a partnership with tourism, the EDC, and the city that's been ongoing for a while. If you can see Philip Dyward's image, you can see where the logo that they have was done by that company. We have since then enlisted Daniel Fayette to work with us on our brand for the city while still working with the EDC to sort of get a cohesive brand put together. Let's see, I'll pull this up here.
Yeah, well, let me pull it up and share it.
They're basically pulling up what we saw in our packet.
Yeah.
Oh, there we
Yes.
go.
Did it appear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so this is sort of what we're working off of. There's a couple different versions for a couple different pieces. You did receive a copy of this in your packet. We will be interested in what this looks like going forward as we work to rebrand vehicles, buildings, things like that will come before you. So we just wanted you to see this in the meantime. Oh, but it is close to final, and just sort of wanted to bring it to your attention. Any questions on that?
Just a comment. As someone with a design background, I was really excited about this. I think they look really good. They're eye-catching. They're simple. They're memorable. I think they'll stand the test of time. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Anything else? Okay, and the last, we're not going to get it done in 2 minutes, but a couple things more. Of all of this is for information and just sort of to update where you are in the different, or where we are as a community in the different pieces. Okra Grant, which is the Office of Community and Rural Affairs, has awarded the city of Greensburg $250,000 to do small business loans through the EDC. It was a joint partnership between the EDC and us, and then we hire administrative resources to file for that. We were one of 13 communities awarded that money in the first round, which was over $2 million. And then we were also just one of a few that got the full $250,000. So it's a big investment in our community from the state. We applied as soon as it became available. It's a very quick turnaround time, and we were awarded it in a very quick amount of time, but we have not been given the directions from the state as to what strings are attached to it yet, and we've been awarded it for over a week now. So that's a little bit frustrating, but we'll continue to work on that. All the fees for grant administration are going to come from the edit fund out of my office. That was part of our sales pitch to the state, was that we will cover all the fees. All of the money that you happen to give to us would go directly into the community. So we're working on that, and I think it's a great thing. It will be a good thing. We just have to actually get the money from the state first. Any questions on Oak Creek? Yes, Clint?
What do you estimate the amount of fees would be, just curiosity?
It was $6,000. It was less than $7,000. It was $6,000 and something.
Right. I think that's smart to make sure this all was going out to the community to get plowed back in. So that's good.
It was very competitive. I think they had multiple millions of dollars in applications and only awarded $2 million worth out of the first one, and we received $250,000 of that. So that's a decent percentage. So
It is great.
anything else on the Okra? Seeing none? Okay, airport, a little bit of an update and some great information there, of course. First of all, since the COVID issue has hit our community, virus, we have lost Jim Pruitt to it, who served on our airport board faithfully for many, many years and was an active member of that. And while I didn't have the opportunity to work with Jim that much, seemed to be a fantastic guy in the community, had a lot of respect for him. So we wish our condolences to Mimi and the entire family as they struggle with that. We have also been awarded a grant as part of the first CARES Act. It was $10 billion nationwide, and the Greensburg Municipal Airport received $30,000 in grant money from that to help cover costs, sort of regular costs that happen, operational, administrative, labor, things like that. So they have working to get that money in hand. The FAA has also announced that they will match, they will take away the local match for the grant that are given this year, contracts that are awarded. So if a contract is awarded for the Greensburg Airport expansion, there will be no local match for that this year. That has the potential to be an impact of north of $250,000 for the local community. We do not have to borrow that money if it is awarded in 2020. That was part of the CARES Act as well. Also, an update on that, and I see Mr. Goddard is on here with us this evening. There have been the court-ordered appraisers have submitted their numbers, and the other appraisers submitted their numbers. The clerk treasurer's office, at the direction of the airport board, has tendered checks to the Decatur County clerk's office in the full amount of the court-ordered appraisers' values. And then I won't speak to the legalities of how all that works. If you are interested in contacting their attorney, Don Tribbett, he could walk you through that. But that is sort of where that process is. Any questions from the board on that? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Reminder, heavy trash is the week of May 18th. That happens on your normal trash day. And you can set out the materials, 24 to 48 hours in advance. We ask that you don't do it very far in advance so that the community doesn't look like a pile of garbage alongside every road through town. We are expecting it to be quite high this year, as many people are home and cleaning out closets and sheds. Mark actually alerted me the other day that our trash bill for the month of April was 20% higher than what it was last year, because everybody's at home, nobody's eating out, kids are home, all of that. So we expect that to be large. It's a reminder to everyone who's watching the recording or hear from the public, it is for residential use only, your personal use, not your business or any type of industry. No electronics, paints, or any type of hazardous materials. We have tax away days and heavy and electronic recycling days for those days. So just a reminder, that's still coming. City holiday with tomorrow is supposed to be our election day, but obviously that has been moved to June. So we have moved the election day. Tomorrow is a work day for city employees, and now June 2nd will be our election day holiday. And then I want to assure everyone we continue to be in contact with our financial partners, Reedy Financial Group. They are new to us this year, which means that they have taken a deep dive into our finances and continue to evaluate those and work on our budgets and project what it is that we may need or capital expenditures. They've assured me that our financial health is stable. I have talked to Brenda about this as well, and we continue to be in touch with the county auditor and treasurer about what funds are going to be available and when. As a city, we typically have a very high percentage of people who do escrow their money as part of their mortgage on their home. That is not entirely true for the county, because a lot of farmland is not escrowed on their property tax. We don't predict our impact to be that large, but Reedy Financial is going ahead and planning a 10% shortfall on property tax collection, meaning just 10% of people won't pay their property taxes. They're doing that for all of their customers. That's not specific to us. They believe that that number is large enough to have an impact on bottom lines and that it will not exceed that. So I just do it as a reassurance to everybody that we continue to monitor the financial health of the city and are keeping up to date on that. That's about all I know on that specifically, but if you have questions, happy to answer those. Okay, seeing none, the last one is sort of a good news. We have welcomed 2 new police officers to the department since we last met. You all hired them earlier this year, and we have 3 of our 5 firemen on board as well already. The other 2 firemen, I talked to Chief Stoermer today, will be coming mid-summer. That way that they can go through training at the same time and build some of that camaraderie. Plus, we don't have to pay for all the training once for each individual. And with that, we wish Mark Baldwin, after 33 years of service to the Greensburg Fire Department, well in his retirement, and look forward to having the new guys on board. The last thing on the, and as long as there's no questions for that, the last thing on the agenda is something that Brenda has brought to our attention, that the Board of Works is supposed to make a motion to approve their claims. Those were all presented to you in your packets. And if you have any questions, those could be directed at Brenda, or if not, we'll take a motion to approve the claims as presented, should do the trick.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims as presented.
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call vote on that, Brenda, please.
Tammy Kane,
Yes.
Glenn Teddy,
Yes.
Rodney King,
Yes.
and Dee Rust.
Yes.
Karen Rust. I apologize. Karen Rust.
Anything else to come before the board? Before we make the motion, somebody makes a motion to adjourn. Thank you for joining us this way. My intention is for us to meet in June. I think we could have probably done it today with the governor's new orders, but we had already advertised this as a virtual meeting. So I hope that by June we will be back on track in person, even though we may have to take some social distancing precautions. We can do that. City Hall's been functioning at full capacity, and we'll continue to monitor the situation and try to follow the governor's directive as the Get Back on Track Indiana plan. And with that, thank you, everybody, and a motion to adjourn would be much appreciated.
And a voice.
Moved by Dr. King. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Dee. All roll call vote on the adjournment, please.
Tammy Kane,
Yes.
Glenn Teddy,
Yes.
Rodney King,
Yes.
Karen Rust.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, and I'll see you next month, if not before.
Very good. Thank you.